asking for help should not come with a side of humiliation. If you help someone just to make them feel small, like, are you really helping them?
If I were the one asking for help, and I know that I have no other option, if you like, stone me with the money, I'll still pick it up.
Some people get too comfortable because they know that, okay, if I call his number, it's going to come through for me. So they don't even want to try other means. They just wait till they're in trouble and dial your number.
Yes, what's going on, people? Waiting the sup. Welcome to another episode of Scatteryan Podcast, another session of Scatteryan Podcast where we take trending stories, scatter them, and try to see how society influences behavior. I'm your guy and host, Toves. Today we're talking about something that we've all possibly or probably experienced, asking for help, but ending up feeling worse than before. So here is the scene. In the last couple of days, I think in a week or so, Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelenskyy went to the White House, the US White House, hoping for support from President Trump. But instead of a warm welcome, Trump and his Vice President Vance and some senators gave him a hard time. They said he's too ungrateful. They tried to put pressure on him to accept a deal that favors Russia, not the Ukrainian people. And they even mocked what he was wearing. They were saying, why is he not putting on his suit? And I love this answer. His answer was that, when it's peacetime, he can put on costumes like wearing suits and things like that. So just imagine that, right? A whole world leader getting treated like an old friend who borrowed money and hasn't paid back. But here is the twist. We've all had a version of this happen in our own lives. Imagine you're going through a rough time, you're asking a friend for help, but instead of being met with sympathy, you're hit with the, humiliation. You're hit with humiliation. And they also give you some advice as well, like, you should work harder, you should pray harder, etc., right? And they make you feel like you should be grateful for the little help that they're giving you, So basically, it's like asking for a favor and getting a lecture on how you should just accept any crumbs they throw your way. But today I'm joined with two of my friends here, two of my guys, and we're going to chat about this topic. We've all been here before. Please, let's welcome back to Scatteryan Dr. Morris, who likes to live life with no worries, love lorries, and when he was a smoker, he used to smoke St. Morris. How are you feeling today?
I have never been a smoker. Disclaimer alert. But I do like to live life with no worries. So yeah, it's good to be back on the podcast.
Yeah, good to have you back. And we also have our guy, Mr. Nelson, aka Benson. That's not his name, but his name is aka Pizu. Lights fire quicker than a diesel for shizzle. How are you feeling today, Nelson, my guy?
I'm good, except the network has been stressing me. That's why I look stressed. But yeah, it's your boy Pizzo. You know what time it is. Let's catch fire.
All right, then. All right, let's get into it. Let's hope we can lighten you up with this. No pun intended. Hope we can lighten you up with this episode. Why do some people resort to condescension when they're in a position to offer support? I don't know if you guys have experienced this before. I don't know if you guys have been the one doing the condescending. But why do people tend to resort to that when they are helping people? Any ideas?
I've been on both sides where I've been the help and the helper. So sometimes it's for the person that is being helped is some level of entitlement that is making them feel like you are approaching them in a condescending manner. And there have been situations where the helper too, like the Donald Trump situation, it's just giving advice and not helping. With the Donald Trump situation, I was disgusted by the way they treated him, given the fact that his country is going through a lot. And there was a part where Trump even said he intentionally did this and is also intentionally dragging it so that the world can see. The world can see what? That you're trying to help him or that you're trying to, what exactly? So, government policies, because I don't know so much of it. Maybe there are underlying factors that made them treat him in that condescending manner. One of which is because he was at the campaign with their counterparts sometime last year in September. And the vice president
Morris, what do you think?
that known.
I think in the Donald Trump's case, let's get it clear. There is no help there. This is a business transaction between two countries. So if we look at it from that perspective, then Trump just applied a sort of negotiating tactic. But so it's quite different from what we experience when we, you know, offer help or ask for help from people. So I think there's a clear distinction there between a business transaction and asking for help. Now, Trump may have seen this as a business transaction, so what he was doing was basically negotiating, and he had to pull up some dirty tricks. We're not condoning his behavior, and most people um, would frown on what he did. But if we really look at that scenario, we see it a lot of the times being played out before us. And that usually happens when you have somewhat a similar scenario whereby you have somebody that is constantly relying on you for some form of support, right? So they come to you the first time you help them, they come to you second time, you keep helping them. And then eventually, um, it might get to a point whereby you feel, okay, maybe if I keep helping this person, I may not get to break away from these shackles. So I have to find a way to either instill some morals on that person or some lessons so that person either they don't come back or they learn to behave in a better manner so they don't have to come back. So, but either way, most of the times people do that because they don't want the person to come back, or they just want to um, genuinely teach those people about how they can manage their affairs better. That's how I see it. So yes, it may be condescending, but Nelson alluded to the fact that people who would consider it as condescending sometimes have an sort of like an entitlement mentality. So, and I kind of agree in a way with that statement. So, but yeah, so I think let's not see it as condescending. Yes, the tone may be condescending, but how about the message? Is it true?
Right.
Put out all emotions aside. Are they saying the right thing? Are they wrong? Uh, then we can start looking at how the message was delivered. But in this case, I'll say
Right.
it's fair game. It depends on the
So
situation.
for me, I will say yes. I've also been on both sides. I've not been condescending, but I've given lectures when helping. But it will be in the situation whereby someone I've been helping, someone helping, and then at some point you'll be like, look, let me just tell this guy, how to also do something to better themselves. But when you're saying the other person might be feeling entitled, I would like to think that if someone feels that the conversation is condescending, I think they genuinely feel it's condescending. If you're basically trying to make someone feel worse than they already are, because if someone is coming to you for help, I would like to think they're already down enough. You shouldn't just be like, oh, why are you wearing what you're wearing? Or what is this? What have you not done this? And sometimes when I've tried to give people just even banter, I understand that sometimes even when people are feeling down as well, you might even want to just have a banter, but because they are down or sad, then they take everything you're saying as condescending on them. Because I had a friend, very, very good friend, but I think he was having a rough time. He came over, we were talking, I was just doing the normal banter we've been having every time. But this time, on this day, I noticed that anytime I made those jokes, he was not smiling, he was not taking it in the same way he used to take it before. So sometimes, like you said, Maurice, there's emotion involved that can help people that make people to think, okay, is this guy talking to me because of the situation I'm feeling right now? But again, who should we be considering? The person doing the helping or the person feeling hurt that they are being helped or being taken advantage of? I think that's my kind of next question. Because I know we've gone away from the Zelensky part now, because the Zelensky one, that one was 100% condescension. Because, yeah, there's no way you talk to another world
So I
leader,
think
a sovereign
I
world
think the
leader
best
that
judge.
way.
I think the best judge for this is the third party, somebody looking at it from the outside that can see the body language of the person that they are trying to help and the person that is trying to help. So in that situation, you can be able to tell if this person is just taking a piece or is actually giving genuine advice and it's the other party that is feeling entitled. So different situations, it is difficult for us to just, you can't put it on white and black. It's different for us, it's difficult for us. There are gray areas to this thing
Right.
because like you said, you have been helping and helping and helping. So if I'm seeing this from a face value point of view, I don't know the back end story. If you have been
Mm.
helping and helping and helping and it's time to give advice and not help. Because sometimes you cannot, some people get too comfortable because they know that okay, if I call his number, it's going to come through for me. So they don't even want to try other means. They just wait till they're in trouble and dial your number, then it become a a standard ATM. So in that situation, you might not necessarily be condescending, but in situations where you are giving unsolicited advice when the solution to the problem is money, like I came to tell you that my mom is not feeling too well, and you say, okay, you have the money to help, but you say, let's pray about it first. Ah, okay, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, it's quite tricky, you know. I think context matters a lot in this
Mm-hmm.
case because the emphasis now is on the context surrounding it. I've had situations whereby I needed some assistance, right? It wasn't even a situation whereby I was say, okay, give me money. It's like lend me money and I'll pay you. And you know me that this person is credit worthy. This person will definitely pay back, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you have that situation whereby the person is now being condescending towards you. Then and you know that you've never asked that person for help before, and you
Yeah.
know that for some reasons you had that belief that this person was in a better position to assist you, but they don't. Yes,
Mm.
it can feel a bit disheartening for the person to be condescending in that
Yeah.
sense,
I
but
like I like
I
where you've
get that
taken
part.
it. I like where you've taken it because now if someone if help, right, if help comes with shame and different conditions, is it still help or is it a power move? Right, because that's the
Shame
way
is
I saw the
relative.
Trump situation. Right, if
Shame
it
is
comes with shame,
relative.
like you want to help somebody, you're shaming them and you're giving them terms and conditions to help them. Is that help or power move? Yeah, it says relative. Go on.
Yeah, shame is relative because honestly, what this person finds
No, let's assume that
disgraceful
we
or
let's assume that it is shame. Let's assume that 100% it's a shame.
ah,
But it will be difficult to assume
help.
that
Because
because some people
that's why I'm using
see.
the Trump example, right? Because that one it is shaming.
Okay.
That is definitely shaming. Everybody will agree that it
Okay,
is
so
shaming.
in
But
the
then one says,
situation where there's
and you
shame,
even said
in
it
the situation where there's
earlier,
shame, I
Morris.
beg,
You
keep
said
your head.
it's a business negotiation tactic. So that's a power move. Then
Yeah.
it's no longer help. You see?
In a situation where you feel ashamed, then and you should be ready to help yourself because
No, no, but you
if
forget that the
you
beggar rarely has a choice.
Hmm.
my point
So
exactly. So if you are feeling ashamed, you should be ready to help yourself because you cannot tell me the Almajiri sitting on the road is telling me that he's ashamed to collect my 20 naira because he sees me in a Benz. But and so because I'm in a Benz, I should
But if you
give
carry
him a certain amount.
that 20 naira, and stone the almajiri and say next time don't come and beg me in my car. If you see my car, run away.
But is there a bundle of 20 naira that is thrown the Almajiri? Because there are different levels to this thing.
Oh,
You get?
so there's a kind of help you help somebody you can stunt on them. Basically, is what you're saying.
no, I don't approve of that one.
Did you know what Trump said? He said they've given him help worth $300 million or something ridiculous.
The previous president, not him.
Three other previous president is coming to America for help. America has given him 300 million naira or what would it close
But that's
$300 million dollars.
that's not true. But anyways, yeah, let's go on.
Okay, so they are lying now. He said that's the
Uh,
issues. So you cannot use
Yes,
the
this
Trump
is another
scenario
thing.
because we
But yeah, but Trump's scenario is quite different. But in
mm,
this case, yeah. But I think it depends on um this how the way I'll put it is if I were the one asking for help, right? And I know that I have no other option. This is my last resort.
mm-hmm.
I'll swallow my pride right? I'll put my ego aside. If you
Hmm.
like, stone me with the money. If you like, spit on the money, I'll still pick it up, dust it, and go and bank it.
Hmm.
But I would learn from that experience. I'll make that a teachable moment to say that, okay, I have to do better. So that way I don't experience that again. That's how I would approach. But most people might not, some people may, but um, it depends.
Okay, well, I would say at the end of the day, man, asking for help should not come with a side of humiliation. But if you help someone just to make them feel small, like, are you really helping them, or are you just boosting
Okay.
your ego?
So,
But then, yeah, go on. I was gonna ask a question. Go,
see,
go for
this
it.
is where it gets tricky. How about the intent, the intention? Because you might be making someone feel small without even knowing it, right?
That's
Without
the cultural
even,
aspect as well, because especially in Nigeria as well, you see people just walking around with big bag, just just throw money to the beggars. To them, they are helping them, but
yeah.
that action to them is nothing. But to other people, they're like, why are you just treating these people like they are beneath you? Yes, they help you. You help them, or someone is coming to beg you. You be like, oh, take this money, come off of my face, Jerry. They'll still give you the money, but they'll still shout at you and make you feel like worthless at the same time. They don't know they're doing something wrong because culturally it is acceptable that big men, big bank take little bank, as they say. Um, so I think cultural aspect has to do something with it as well. That's why Nelson probably was saying, there are levels to the kind of help that you can use to be condescending. If you're going to condescend with 1 billion, if you have 1 billion, it can be condescending to someone with 10,000 naira, right? That's what you're saying, Nelson, no?
For the sake of Scatayan podcast, I agree with you. That now me talk now.
Um,
Because really,
but
honestly, yeah,
mm,
what Morris has said it all. And the truth is, we'll never know. It's the motive behind the help.
Right. So that's what I
The
wanted to ask the
motive
next
behind the
question
help.
then. So how
The
should we help
motive.
other people without making them feel indebted or inferior?
Um,
And also
uh,
follow up question: how do we also set boundaries when seeking for help so that people so we don't get treated anyhow? You know.
okay, let me
but,
take this one. Right. So
okay.
I think I read somewhere that when you help somebody the first time, there is appreciation. When you help the second time, um,
That's
there
depreciation.
is no gratitude, and then the third time it becomes like a dependency thing,
Hmm.
right? So it's like the more you do it, the more it creates you create a situation whereby that person could then become dependent on you.
Hmm.
Okay, now the goal is to ensure that you spot it before it gets to that dependency stage. So I would say maybe the second time, because let's not let's not sugarcoat it. I know that things can happen, right? But a lot of the times, the people requesting for help, I'm trying to put this as a in the most polite way I can, right? Have failed to prepare for that situation. So there has to be a part whereby accountability comes in. So if I am asking you for rent,
Hmm.
now rent is not something that spring up on you like a surprise bill, like somebody gets into an rent. You have to pay your rent eventually. Yes, life can happen, but if you prepare and you plan your finances accordingly, you should have saved up way in advance for your rent before that day comes. So no, you don't get to that day and say, okay, my landlord will kick me out the next day. So I think at that point in time, and someone comes up to you and asks you for rent, that, oh, my landlord is going to chase me, you have every right to ask the person, what happened? Why didn't you save up for the rent? Right? And in that moment, it forces the person to think about the decisions that they've made leading up to that particular point whereby they have failed to, take accountability for their own responsibility. So I think you have to, sometimes address the issue, but also context matters. Like I said, it depends on the situation. There could be we know that there are surprises, but again, if you plan well, I don't know. You should also plan for contingencies and for I don't know,
Well,
but
anyways, let's
that's a
let
different.
me try to drive the point home again with some would you rather questions, right?
Okay.
So we can look at this from the point of view of the receiver, or who felt condescended or belittled. I don't know if that was the word, but anyways, I don't talk. That's what we're sticking with. So, my first, I have three would you rather for this question. The first one is: would you rather ask a friend for help and have them turn it into a public spectacle, or have them offer help but constantly belittle you every time they bring it up? So you ask a friend for help and they turn it into a public spectacle, or they offer to help you but constantly belittle you every time they say, I helped him, or things like that.
Well, I think there's a saying that um, he who plays the piper dictates the tune or something like that.
Yes.
So if you're asking for help, right, then and that person chooses to make it a public spectacle, it may not be the most ideal situation, but if you know that that person is going to make it a public spectacle and you ask for it, so you should have no issues with that. So I would rather, um, if I know it's different, so I would rather say, yes, make it a public spectacle. If I can ask for help, swallow my pride and ask for help, then I might as well disregard the public backlash that may or may not come of it. So
Sorry, Dr. Tove, what's your answer?
Why do you want to copy and paste my answer? Well,
I promise you I won't.
because
I
you asked
promise
me.
you I won't.
Okay, here's my
I
answer.
promise you I won't.
Yeah, I know
What's your
why.
answer?
Yeah, cool. Right, so public spectacle belittled every time. So to me, one time versus many times. I'll always go for one time. So I'll rather ask for help. They turn it into a public spectacle. Yes, everybody knows I begged you for money. Yeah, one time, good. But not that every time. Do you know that I gave this guy money? I gave this guy money. He was begging me like a dog. No. So I'll rather have the one time and forget about it as well.
Okay. All right. Viewers, over to you. What do you want? Do you want to make it a public spectacle or you want it to be a one-time thing? Please put it in the comment section. Thank you.
And the
what
people, your guys also want to know. Listen. Yeah, we're the same boat, Maurice. Go ahead.
No, I would know. I would not want to be in a position where I'm wanting somebody to help me and I need help. Then the person
Obviously,
is
that's the option everybody's going to take. But
belittling me every time he tries to help me. But if every time I come to this person, he does whatever I ask for, but he chooses to belittle me, but I'm sure every time I come, I'm going to get what I want.
all right.
In a family situation, maybe let me use my dad as an example, because I've seen my friends that have suffered this. Every time they want to get money from their dad, they have something to say, how they are not doing well in their life, how they are wasting away, but at the end of the day, it will still do the transfer. So
Fair enough.
you know where I stand, yeah?
Right. So let's take it from your initial situation where you were saying, or you rather rather be in a situation whereby you're not asking for help, right? So let's go with: would you rather receive receive support from someone who is constantly reminding you of your shortcomings, or have no support but be mocked behind your back for not asking in the first place?
Ah.
I'll start with Nelson. Yes.
Would I rather receive support from somebody who is constantly belittling me?
Remind you of all your shortcomings, everything you have done wrong to not to deserve that help, right? To be asking for help, or you don't have any support at all, but then that same person is mocking you behind your back for not asking in the first place.
Okay. This is tricky. How
Yeah.
do you come up with these questions?
Well, you know me. That's
I
why you
don't
call me
know.
Dr. Toves. You know what it is, isn't it?
You know what time it is? All right, so I would rather just get the support. Don't let me waste time. I'd rather just get the support. Let him do whatever done for me. Because that's not my person, anyways. I've been in situations where, or like, not me personally, but like
But
I
you've
have a
been there
very
in the
close friend
situation,
of
but not
mine.
you personally. Okay, cool.
Yeah, so I have a very close friend of mine that's always, she's always, she runs away from confrontation. Yes.
Okay.
So and it has happened in situations where she finds herself in a position where somebody could help her, but because she doesn't want to confront anybody, she doesn't want to have that conversation, she would rather just go home and suffer. And let me give you an instance. She was in an Uber ride, and she needed to get drugs. She was literally not feeling fine. Like, you could tell. If you look at her, you could tell that this person is not feeling fine. So she wanted to self-medicate or something and just stop over at a pharmacy and continue her ride home. And first thing she does most times when she's in form of distress is to call me, text me, oh, I need this, I don't know how to go about it. I'm like, okay, you are in a ride, right? Speak to the driver, tell him you are sick, you are dying. Just stop at this pharmacy. It's on your way. You are not going off course. Just so you could get drugs. This is matter of life and death. But she's like, no, I can't do that. I kid you not. I had to call the rider for. Okay, I'm sure she's probably seeing this. So I'm sorry I'm using you as an example. But I had to call the rider, help her speak to the rider, beg him that somebody's going to order your ride now, and she will need to get something on the road. Please just do her a favor and stop over, blah, 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 blah. Honestly, the rider did not disappoint me because what she was expecting, I got. He kept giving attitude and whatnot. But because of the kind of person I am, I don't care what your attitude is. I will get what I want from you as long as I know it's possible for me to get it and I'm not infringing on any of your rights. Do you understand? So, long story short, he did what I needed him to do and stopped over and got her the drugs. So, in my to answer your question, since it seems like I'm digressing, I would rather just take that support, get it by any means necessary, than for me to now suffer and suffer a double jeopardy where they are mocking me and I also did not get the support.
Yeah, fair enough.
Which one, Morris?
But no, I think the first one, the reason why is because let me know what my shortcomings are, because it could be that I didn't even know I had those shortcomings. So if you keep,
Constantly.
yes, if you keep constantly telling me, I'll be reminded that I need to do something about it. Um,
And
but in a
sometimes,
situation whereby you don't tell the person and you go behind their back, there's no teachable moment for that person. The person would, I don't know how they would evolve from that particular behavior. So
Yeah.
tell them, let them know. It might seem a bit unpleasant, it might not be the nicest thing, but somehow you have to find a way to deliver it.
Right.
And then hopefully they learn from it.
No, I don't want to know. Yes, mock me behind. It's behind my back, Abby. I'm not aware of what you're saying, right? So I will have no support. Mock me behind my back, no problem. Than to be reminded of my
I kid you
shortcomings.
not, I kid you not,
So
this
you know,
that is the kind of person he is. For those of the viewers watching that doesn't know Dr. Toves, this answer, he will rather die. That is who he is. And I have seen it live. Thank you.
anyways,
Okay.
the last would you rather question for the episode is: would you rather be publicly humiliated by a mentor you respect, but who offers you a solution, or be completely ignored, but at least you maintain your dignity? I asked this question for Nelson again. You know, he say you maintain his dignity. So, are you going to maintain your dignity now, or be humiliated by your mentor you respect, but he will give you a solution? Which situation would
Yeah,
you rather be in?
so I'm of this opinion that it's better not to meet your idols, not to meet your mentors. So I'm of that opinion because most times when you meet them, they are not who you think they are. They also have their normal lives. It's probably something that you saw in him that made you feel like he's your mentor. You get, like, I have some bosses at work that I like the way they operate, and I sort of made them my mentor mentally. But I did not get close and personal to the point where I know who he is at all. Maybe he's a wife beater or he's a rapist. So to answer your question, yeah, I would. save my dignity and stay far away from my mentor, leave him as a mentor, not a helper. I'll look for my help elsewhere. Let my mentor be my mentor. Let my helper be my helper. From where comes my help? My help comes from God, the Most High.
What do you think,
Okay.
Morris?
Yes. Sorry, what was the question again?
Would you rather be publicly humiliated by a mentor you respect but offers you a solution, or be completely ignored but at least maintain your dignity?
No, I don't want to be completely ignored. I think a lot of people that, this is my unpopular opinion, a lot of people that say stuff like dignity and stuff like that, it's just a way of, it's a polite way of masking their ego. So I think so when you start treading the
Angle.
line of dignity, I want to make, nah, it's ego. Let that
Do you
ego
know who I
come
am?
down.
Do you know who I am?
Our people, they like that word. You know who I am? Like, who cares who you are, right? Because at the end of the day, everybody have their own life. Most people are too concerned about themselves to be worried about who you are anyway. So, but yeah, just leave the dignity part. I don't care about the dignity. Tell me, humiliate me. Again, it's a teachable moment, right? But if I don't learn, if I don't experience that, I wouldn't learn from it. So I think we should be more open to receiving criticisms, no matter how terrible it might seem. Even if it, I know sometimes it could get to the point whereby it could cause us depression, there's mental health issues. Yeah, but again, we have to evolve from that. We have to learn, we have to develop ourselves. So I think I'd rather give me all the criticisms you like, and yeah,
Right.
at the end of the
So
day, there's a solution, so I'll be fine.
I was going to go with maintain dignity until you said dignity is ego. Then, I changed my solution. And also because Nelson is feeling that he knows me. So I'm changing my answer to say I will be publicly humiliated in public.
Yay!
Right? Humiliated is another word for humbled. I'd rather be humbled. Put in my position. You say humble yourself and you'll be lifted high.
One time,
So I'm going to be humbled as long as I get a solution. That is what I'm going for. Anyways, true friendship and leadership is not about holding power over other people. It's about lifting them up when they need it. Because every time you help a person, don't let them feel like they have to sign a contract with the devil, because that is just wickedness. All right, folks, that is it for today's episode of Scatayan. I'm going to say thank you to Dr. Morris. Thank you to Nelson. I hope they gave you some things to think about as well. And until next time, don't let anybody use your own situation to make you feel small. Take care of yourself, take care of your friends, and because we all need little help at some point in time, not the drama that comes with it. All right, as I always say, stay curious, question everything, and use your brain. SCFA. Peace.